Hello, everybody, and thanks for listening. So, you see this article right here, Kanye West defends supporting Donald Trump. I ain't never made a decision only based off color. And so, we know what this article is going to be about. And you see, he's right front and center with this MAGA hat on. And then, if you go over to Yahoo and probably any other search engine where it has to do with Kanye supporting Donald Trump. Donald Trump, I guess he was at a rally or he was at some kind of assembly. I believe Kanye West was at a service in Utah, and they're promoting. I guess I think he's the spokesboy for Donald Trump. He's the black celebrity spokesperson for Donald Trump, as that's the way I see it. And I don't know if he's getting paid to promote Donald Trump, but I would think maybe he is, or maybe he's going to get some type of perk for it. I know good and well that his wife, Kim Kardashian, she has come to Donald Trump or the Trump administration to get some people pardoned from some of their sentences. From what to my knowledge, it's not all full pardon, but it's enough to get them released from prison. But I feel like this is all like a little plot, and I don't know where it's leading to. I saw another article, and it was here, and it was about Kanye, and it was saying that he had support on his support. And here's the other article. And so if you see what it's entitled here, this is another additional article. And it says Kanye West on his support for Trump voting based on skin color is mental slavery. And so I don't know if you all are, some people are not as in tune with what's going on in today's politics. Some are because of all the craziness that's been going on. They've kind of been like foisted into it. But as you know, that Kanye also supported a young woman by the name of Candace Owens, who had been a very vocal point in terms of the Republican right wing. It's almost as if she's this black woman, but on the inside, she's sort of denounced who she is on the outside. And she has this voice for people who supposedly Kanye, he's kind of taken her under his wing, sort of. And he says, I like what she says and her attitude. But I feel like there's a whole plot behind all of this. And so there's more to this. So I'm going to pan down here. There's some other stuff. Some people feel like that, they support Kanye, and then others are not that really jazzed about his support for Donald Trump because of the things that Donald Trump has represented. It has not been the nicest administration for people of color. So Kanye West on his support for Trump voting based on skin color is a mental slavery. And so I'm going to try to go in here and try to read this. Kanye West mixed religion and politics during his so-called Sunday service session in Salt Lake City, Utah. So on Sunday, where he spoke about Jesus, his affection for President Donald Trump, and his disdain for social media. Okay, and so standing at the center of the crowd of thousands gathered around him in the plaza, Kanye West, that is, talked about Jesus as typically does, as he does during the weekly services before going on to defend his support for Donald Trump, the Republican Party. So as this Deseret News reported, the rapper pivoted to politics after noting that slaves had been freed under President Abraham Lincoln, America's first Republican president. So they tried to tell me because of my color who I am supposed to pick as the president, West said in videos that attendees recorded at the service. So you're black, so you can't like Trump, he said, imitating his critics. Then West declared, I ain't never made a decision based on my color. That's a form of slavery, mental slavery. And so Kanye West at the Sunday service Salt Lake City, Utah, talked about the Republican Party and Lincoln freeing the slaves and on how he supports Trump. And I ain't never made a decision based on my color or race. That's a form of mental slavery. And so there's a video probably depicting what he said here. And it's on Twitter.
Abraham Lincoln was the leading party. That's the Republican Party. That's freed slaves. That's the Republican Party that freed slaves. That's why we hear people want to call me a fool.
Oh shit.
Because I chose my right. We got the right, right? We got our own right to our own people's right.
Yeah!
As the president, you black, so you can't like Trump. I ain't never made a decision only based off my color. That's a mental slavery.
Okay, so there you have it. You see that he actually said that, and during the service, between 7,000 and 10,000 people attend West service, and the Deseret News reported. And so some people probably had, as he says he doesn't really like social media, there were people that posted this on social media, on Twitter, and so it has been floating around. So West also argued to his audience not to engage on social media, which they did post this on social media. It's all over Twitter. So do not read comments on the internet. These people don't know you like that. Social media is designed to make you think slower, he said, according to a reporter at the event. And basically, mostly all his videos are posted on social media, and most of his comments go on social media. And most of Donald Trump, what he does is tweet all day long on social media, and it goes to Twitter. Most of his tweet rants go on social media. And so he's saying this, and it's contradicting what he's saying, because the very thing he's saying don't go on and don't view and don't read is the very thing his president is on and tweeting on, is social media. So Kanye West at a Sunday service in Salt Lake City, Utah, talked about the Republican Party and Lincoln freeing the slaves, and on how he supports Trump, and he wore a MAGA hat, as you see in one of the articles that I showed you. I ain't never made a decision only based on my color, and that's a form of mental slavery. And so most of the people that really take a liking to this are usually like people who are young, they're Republican, or if they're not young and Republican, they're older Republicans, or they're white Republicans, are people that are for the GOP, that somehow they use him as the spokesperson in terms of celebrity support for the Republican Party and for Trump's administration of this year. It's been like that since last year, November, since 2016 when he was voted in. So the event has thrown together a last minute, according to the Deseret News, and held in an outdoor segment of a shopping and event center in the downtown Utah Salt Lake City. So West's so-called Sunday service took place in the middle of another large religious event, a 2-day conference hosted by the Church of Jesus Christ Latter-day Saints, which, if you look at the Church of Christ Latter-day Saints, you'll find that there's a history where they're not very supportive of the black or people of color, and I saw something about that. It really wasn't that great. If it's the Church of the Latter-day Saints, I believe that's Mormon. So ultra wide angle iPhone 11 is good for Kanye's service, Sunday service. That's a lot of people. And so basically these are angles where people you can see that were at the Utah service. And so you see who's there, of course. So a 21-time Grammy winner had also commented about mental slavery during a controversial interview with TMZ Live in 2018, which he suggested that black people chose to be slaves, which caught on all over social media and caught a firestorm. He caught a firestorm of comments behind that. So when you hear about slavery for 400 years, that sounds like a choice, he said. And so, like, you was there for 400 years, and it's all y'all. So it's like we're mentally imprisoned, West told TMZ. So I like the word prison because slavery goes to direct to the idea of blacks. And it's like slavery, Holocaust Jews, slavery is blacks. And so prison is something that unites us as one race, so blacks and whites being one race. We're the human race. So West is one of Trump's most prominent supporters in the music industry, and he's spoken publicly about the backlash he has faced for holding these political views. So liberals bully people who are Trump supporters, the rapper once told David Letterman. So in the same interview, which was released in May, West told Letterman that he's never voted in an election. And so he talks all of this politics stuff, but he's never voted himself. So I've never voted in my life, West said. So love Huffington Post found member of Huffington Post today related coverage. And so that's basically the whole article. And so there's like 1,302 comments. So I will say this about this particular article. He's entitled to whatever he wants to think and whatever he wants to believe in and say. But I will say this, that I don't agree with him. I don't find any of this surprising either, because I feel like ever since that he got on stage and he interrupted Taylor Swift from getting her award, and he got up there on stage, and ever since when he had that incident where tragic event where his mom had died, it just seemed like he'd never really been the same since. And so I'm not surprised what will come out of the mouth of this man, Kanye West, at this point. He said a lot of outrageous things, and I feel like he does this because it shocks the media. He says that he doesn't want you to look at social media when the president that he claims he's supporting is all over tweeting on social media. The other thing that's crazy about this is that most of the things he says get plastered all over Twitter, all over social media, and he gets a rise out of it. He gets a reaction. His wife, she does things so she can be noticed, and she puts all of her pictures, all of her comments, all her stuff about her family, what they're wearing, what trips they've been on, how they're wearing their hair, what kind of clothes they're wearing. It's all over social media. Her kids, when their family gets together and they have outings, they put pictures upon pictures of every little thing they do. It's all over social media. So he's right there. You can tell right there. He's not really being forthright when he says all of this. I believe that there's a political scheme behind all of this as to why Kanye is doing all this supporting Trump. He's sort of like the poster boy for Trump's campaign, and he sort of is like speaking for the masses of people who are totally not in the same mind frame as he is in terms of his mindset. Okay, so right here, let me see. This one says Kanye West on his support for Trump voting based on skin color is mental slavery. I don't know if this is the same one. I believe it is. There was another one that I was looking at and I was trying to find it. It was crazy. It was like Basically, it's the same thing. It's his supporting Donald Trump, and he was wearing a MAGA hat, and it was on his support for Donald Trump. It might be actually under the one that I just viewed, and so it's just crazy. Doesn't show up, da 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 da, and so here it is right here. So it says Kanye West defends supporting Donald Trump. I ain't never made a decision only based off my color, and so it's basically the same thing. And so you see him here. I feel like there's a political, um, uh, how would you say, a setup, like a performance. And this is just only because election time is rolling around. There's been this whole thing around Donald Trump getting impeached and this impeachment probe and all these other issues that are coming about. You know, there was a thing with the Mueller issue, and there's this thing with the Russians. Then there's this thing with Kim Jong-un, and you know, all these talks and all this stuff going on, and now the climate change issue and how he wanted to say that, you know, he blamed the homeless for having to do with some of the issues with pollution, air quality, and climate change. And now we got the election thing rolling around. People are trying to run for president for the next term. And so now you see Kanye is rising up to support him. And so I believe that's why all of this is happening. That's my thoughts on this. I really don't support I didn't vote for him the first time. I won't vote for him again, but at all. I didn't vote for him the first time. So even though I didn't like who I had voted for, I was not that, you know, I'd rather voted for Hillary than to vote for Donald Trump. That was my position. But the thing is that I believe this is a political stunt. Basically, that's what I'm saying. And so pretty much that's how I'm going to leave this. What are your thoughts and feedback on this? It's just really crazy. I feel like he's just really just like doing what the Sambos did back in the days. You always look that up. Sambo. It's sort of the same thing in the same respect. Sambo. Sambo is a definition of a term used to refer to a black person, especially a male. And so let's get into it. Okay. And so, okay. A person of black or white ancestry. So, okay, Sambo. Okay. A black person, especially a male, a term referred to a Latin, a black, and Native American ancestry, or a person of black and white ancestry, is Sambo. So, anyway, somebody that what really, in this sense, what it's referring to. Let me close this. Is someone who's pretty much, you know, you're tap dancing for the very person who is not in the corner of people like people of color. You're just promoting them. It's almost like there were these two women. I don't really hear from them anymore. They were supporting Donald Trump in the beginning. There were two black women, and they were, you know, singing, and then they were making multiple videos, and a lot of people had shown criticism towards these two women because they were trying to promote people, reeling people out of being liberal or being Democratic to go into being Republican. And so they were making slogans, and they were saying, if you want to get out of the Democratic slump and get on the Trump train and ride the Trump train. And a lot of people felt like that these women were paid. They even made them go to court, and the women were saying that they didn't get paid to promote Donald Trump, which I feel that they did. There was some way they figured out a way around it that they wouldn't get caught. And even though they went to court to prove that they didn't get paid, I still feel that they got paid some type of way. There was a perk somewhere, because I don't believe that they really were as they weren't as sincere with what they were doing. So A Zambo is a derogatory term used for Indian heritage in some countries. Okay, so this is different. This has nothing to do with the Sambo that I'm looking at. This has more to do with the American version of a Sambo, not somebody like this. It's more has to do with somebody who, how would you say it? They used to call it Uncle Tom. Uncle Tom. That was also a derogatory term. Somebody that, they're trying to play up to white people, and, they're doing it because, yeah, what is an Uncle Tom? So that might be the better term. Okay. It's used a derogatory epithet, exceedingly subservient person, particularly when the person is aware of their own lower class status based on race. The use of the epithet is the result of later works derived from the original novel, The Uncle Tom. Okay, so you see like visuals of Uncle Tom. And so Uncle Tom, Tom is a Christian figure here portrayed in the book Uncle Tom's Cabin, but ultimately martyred and being beaten to death with a cruel master simply because Tom has a sacrificial heart for others and refuses to betray the location of two black women who have escaped from slavery. So Tom is ordered by, it goes into that. So a black person who is overeager to win the approval of whites. Okay, so that's basically the best term to put it. Uncle Tom. So in that sense, I'm feeling that that's more Kanye's role and what he is in terms of Donald Trump and how he's, playing up to him politically. And he is like the Uncle Tom or the poster boy for playing up to Donald Trump's ways and political, his tricks of trying to get reelected. I figure that there's going to be a lot of people that are going to try to vote for him, but I won't be one of them. I'll just say that. And there's going to be a lot who won't want to vote for him because of some of the things that have already taken place that have been pretty traumatic for families, that have been dragged for people of color, having to do with health care and other issues among all of those. With that being said, I'm going to let this video go. What do you think about this? It's really crazy to me, but I'm not surprised that Kanye is doing this. It's not something unusual to me that he would stoop to this level at all. I could see him doing this, again and again and again. But with that being said, like, comment, subscribe, and thank you for listening.